Bryan, let's jump into the keys to victory for the offense. And we do this every week. We're going to go through the keys to offense, and I'll read what you wrote, and we will decide. We will then talk about whether Notre Dame achieved, got the good old check mark for that key, or whether they did not. And here we go. So, key number one. Start fast. Notre Dame had its first fast start of the season last weekend when it scored 14 points in the first quarter against Purdue and had 3 touchdowns on its first 5 possessions. Even before the Irish put the game away with a late first half interception return for a score, the offense had put up 28 points. There's obviously a lot more written there, but there it is. Start fast. Did Notre Dame start fast in this game? I can't even say it with a straight
big face. Fat freaking minus. No, they didn't. They didn't. No. And look, the first drive, you somewhat understand they were backed up in their own territory because a muffed punt forced the defense to make a big stop, and they start their first drive at their own 4. Okay, whatever. Still, you're supposed to be a championship team. You got to start putting some drive. I mean, hey, you had Northern Illinois backed up even 2 yards closer to the end zone a couple weeks ago, and they went 98 yards for a touchdown, right? Like,
truth.
You want to see something. They didn't even get a first down. They had to punt. It was like first time you're like, okay, James Rendell might be okay, right? Because he punts from his own 10 and they flips it to the 37-yard line. You're like, okay, all right, boom, that one. You come out your next drive, you get into Miami territory. You have some big misses, some mistakes from the O-line that get you into a 3rd and 20 situation, and you get 12 back to get in the field goal range, and you miss it. And there was a play in there that that we talk about. This is why I want to see take maybe more of a chance here. You miss a field goal, you muff a field goal, just a sloppy finish to the drive. You come out and drive 3, Vince, and you go 3 and out. In your third drive, after Miami of Ohio just took a 3-0 lead,
right?
You go 3 and out, right. Now your defense forces its own 3 and out. Great job, D, and that's when the offense woke up and scored on their next 2 drives to pretty much put the game away at that point in time. Well, and for Miami of Ohio, Vince, it was enough to win the game. This is why I said in my game observation they did enough to win, But again, if you're projecting forward, like that's not good enough to beat some of the better teams on your schedule. Because you don't throw the ball well enough to come from behind 17-0. You don't have Brady Quinn against Michigan State in 06 or 05 for that matter, where he can go throw for 400 yards and get you back in that game. You don't have that, and so you've got to start faster. And this is another game in which Notre Dame failed to start fast.
Right.
And it cost them.
I will say, and I know we're talking about starting fast and all that. I mean, the first 3 possessions were awful. I mean, they were awful. I mean, let's be honest. They were awful. And here comes the but, right? Here they had 7 possessions after that. So they had 10 total possessions. But the 7 possessions after that, they go touchdown, fumble, which I'm sorry, probably would have been a touchdown, okay? Because they made it down to the Miami 14 when he fumbled it.
Yeah, he has like a 43-yard run.
I mean, right? Look, they would have scored on that drive. I know they didn't, and so you can't say that they did, but offensively, I feel like they would have scored on that drive. So the next 7 possessions, you would have punted twice and scored 4 touchdowns, maybe 5 or 4 and a field goal. So they started off horribly, but then as an offense,
in both halves,
yes, correct. But the next 7. I believe they score on 5 of the 7. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm not, again, it's not an excuse. It's just a fact. That's how the next 7 drives went.
Right. Now, what Notre Dame needs to figure out a way to do is start fast and finish strong. Yes. That's what 100%. The best teams do, right?
100%.
Like that,
yes.
That's what top 10 teams do.
Yes.
Top 20 to 25, top 20 teams do what Notre Dame did yesterday.
Fair.
Top 10 teams figured out early and put teams away. And that's why right now Notre Dame's not a top 10 team.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, they did respond well. And I do think this offense did a better job of kind of waking up a lot sooner than they did against Northern Illinois 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, agree with that.
And obviously that was a positive. But you had that second drive, the first drive of the third quarter, Vince. I was like, they're going to put this thing away. As you see Riley taking off, and you're like, he completes 2 balls in a row, and then he takes off for a big gain, and then pops out, and you're just like,
like,
this drive perfectly summarizes this Notre Dame offense.
I know, right?
Because they're so close all the time to just this could really go off. And you say to yourself, man, you say to yourself, like in moments of excitement, like when the light goes on, this team's going to be really dangerous. But you're now at the point now where it's like you get less optimistic each week about whether or not the light is going to go on. And if it does, is it a one-game thing? Or is it, okay, this team figured it out, now watch out? That's what we don't know. Everybody has their opinions of what they think is going to happen. But right now, it's opinions we don't know. And that's the frustrating part of it, is it's just always something, and they're gonna have to figure that out. And it's leading to why they just don't get fast starts. So this has been a key to victory for me for 2 years now, and this is in 4 games this year. It's been, they've got a minus in 3 of the 4.
Mm-hmm. Key number 2. Outside receivers must step up. This key has 2 important aspects to it. The first is practical to this game. Miami, Ohio plays its second safety down a lot in hopes of slowing down the opponent run game, and this is especially true on first and second down. When you consider how Notre Dame's offense has been so run-heavy thus far and how much the pass game has struggled, it wouldn't make sense for Miami, Ohio to change this and play 2 high safeties. If they show what we saw in film the first 2 weeks, the outside receivers are going to get plenty of opportunities to make plays. They'll need to come off the line with urgency, be sharp on their out and comeback routes, and compete hard for the football in inevitable one-on-one situations they'll be put in. You want me to continue with the big picture part of it, Bryan?
I think we have the idea of it.
Okay.
Here's the question, Vince. How do you think this is? I have a hard time grading this one because my initial thought is minus. All right. Because it says what? Outside receivers have to play well.
Yep.
Okay. You break down the film, you look at it, say, okay, number one, one thing the outside receivers did a really good job of in this game, they blocked their freaking butts off. Bo Collins, Chris Mitchell, both of them blocked really well downfield. Okay. You're still pass catchers. All right, well, Bo had 4 catches for 60 yards and included a 38-yard touchdown that really kind of gave them a push. Chris Mitchell had his best game at Notre Dame so far. He had 2 catches for 25 yards. Should have had 2 more, but the ball didn't come his way or it was thrown inaccurately. He also drew a 15-yard penalty on a play where he beat a guy on a post route. Bo had another post route where he should have got a ball on a post route, Vince. The 3rd and 20, I'm going to show that play. He's got Riley's got to let that go.
The one where he went to Greathouse?
Yep. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
It's a good throw to Greathouse, but it was 8 yards shy of the first down.
But here's the thing, though. That 12-yard gain got them in field goal range. So I'm not going to crush Riley for making that throw because you get you in field goal range. But
I like that throw. Are we going to talk about it later? Because I don't want to jump on it. But.
No. Okay. We can quickly mention it now. So, but like my thing is that's one of those ones we talk about. I'm okay maybe throwing a pick there because you took a chance down the field on 3rd and 20 at near midfield.
Gotcha.
You get what I'm saying? Where Bo has a step, launch it, give him a shot.
Right.
Okay, you don't get in field goal range, but like that's what I want to see though. I want to see that. Hey, my guy's got a step. Let me give him a shot. So I actually think the outside receivers played relatively well. We didn't see a ton of Jordan Faison. He needs to do a much better job on that go ball. It was good awareness by Riley. Well, actually, before we move on to that, I know you wanted to say something about that throw, Vince. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say what I did like, because we're talking about Riley Leonard taking steps and progressing, the way he stepped up in the pocket and threw that ball with authority, on the money, put it in front of Greathouse, allowed him to make that catch on the run. I liked the execution of the throw that he made, right?
Yes.
Completely agree with you that he should have
He has not made in other, like there's 2 plays I've shown him breakdowns, Vince, where he didn't make the read I want him to make on a deep ball. He came on, it was the burst corner against A&M where he threw an in cut to Chris Mitchell. And then there was the climb route that Jaden Harrison had last week against Purdue where he threw an in cut to Jaden Thomas. Both times he drove the ball into the ground and missed. On this one, he stepped in the pocket and let it rip and hits Jaden Greathouse right in the money. They get 12 yards and now you're in field goal range. He's not the reason that they muffed the field goal.
Correct.
I totally agree. My coaching point to him was, hey, that's a time for us to take that shot there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I want 7, not 3. I think Riley took the smart play. I want to see him be a little bit more aggressive there.
Yeah.
And I'll show it on film when I'm talking about there tomorrow, Vince. So I'm not giving him a minus for that play.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, nice job, but when
Mm-hmm.
we've got this step, you've got to give your guys a chance to make plays.
Yep.
And so, but so you think about it, like you had the touchdown pass, your outside receivers drew 2 pass interference penalties, 15-yard pass interference penalties, and one-on-ones. I still want to see Jordan Faison. He got outside, Vince, but he stayed outside of the corner and then drifted. When the ball left Riley's hands, Jordan fades outside. And then as he jumps, he kind of jumps back. He doesn't compete for the ball at all. The difference between that throw and the throw to Bo Collins is once Bo got on top of that guy, Bo stayed on top of that guy and stayed vertical. And Jordan faded. So it looks like, oh, it was badly underthrown ball. It was slightly underthrown. But if Jordan Faison runs a better route there, that's a big play. So I actually thought the outside receivers, though, as a whole, I thought they played good football. There was misses that the quarterback had where he should have taken a couple shots and not throw the ball over Chris Mitchell's head. Chris Mitchell played better than 2 catches for 25 yards. Again, he also had the 15-yard PI. I felt Bo Collins played better than 4 catches for 60 yards. But again, you can't throw the ball to yourself. The only criticism I have of those two is Chris is telegraphing his top ends way too much. And I want to see Bo compete for that deep ball that he only got. He put out one hand and it hit him in his hand. It's a perfect throw. He was kind of fight. I need to see him fight with that second hand to get through, or go win an Oscar. If right. I tried and he's yanking me. Good veteran receivers need to do those type of things. And that was my only kind of critique with Bo in this game was that particular play. Overall, I thought Bo played a pretty good game. And I thought that Chris Mitchell took a step. So overall, I think the outside receivers played well. I don't think the game plan was geared towards getting them as mmany touches as they maybe could have, it was my initial thought. But when you go back and watch the film, there was a lot more opportunities for them to make catches. Ball's going to come their way. And that's what we say. Sure. There are some things Riley Leonard did well in this game, and there's still too many throws he's not hitting right now. He's not even tempting, and that's going to be the next step. And so overall, I give it a check here, Vince. I give it a plus, like I give it a check, like they played well,
not a plus.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Like, I mean,
how do you view it? Right. No, I'm right with you. I also grade them on their blocking as well, and I thought that they did a good job on blocking. I think they've done a pretty decent job blocking all season, but now they're starting to get some opportunities in the pass game, which allow them to make some more obvious plays to people, right? And so I think they actually did play pretty well. There was a couple of times where I think the ball could have gotten to them, but Riley Leonard was running for his life at times too.
There were some of those too.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's not on the receiver's fault. It was the one where Riley, he drops back to pass, he steps up in the pocket, and he ends up having to run. And I don't think he got sacked on this one, or maybe he did, but he starts running up the middle and then it gets kind of caught from behind or from the side.
Yes,
Bo Collins was going to be wide open.
Yep.
On a comeback
the route.
But there was no way.
I felt Bo was open on the first pass of the game from inside your own 10. Bo was running a comeback, did a nice job of getting separation out of his break. Riley was looking at him. That's where he wanted to go. But then they gave up a pressure. He has to step into the pocket and scramble. So it wasn't it. And if you look at it, he was running before Bo got out of his break.
Exactly. And that's
but that's got to get fixed. But there was also some times where he's just got to see it better.
Sure.
And get the ball out. And so those are the things I say, like, guys, they're close, but after a while, when you start saying, hey, they're really close, but the same things keep happening, okay, are they actually going to fix it or not? We don't know the answer to that. But for this game, they fixed some things. Last week, all everybody talking about, doesn't throw the ball downfield, do the ball a lot downfield a lot Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And
most of the time, something good happened.
38-yard touchdown pass, 3 15-yard pass interference penalties. If they don't interfere with Mitchell Evans, he definitely catches that ball for about a 40-yard gain. If they don't interfere with Chris Mitchell, that's probably a touchdown. And then what was the other one? Faison. Even still, if Faison plays that better, it's a big catch. But if they don't interfere with him, then it's another 50-yard gain. So now it's about, okay, now do that without taking a step back on the quick game stuff. Like that's the frustrating part. You know what I mean?
Right. And we'll definitely talk about that.
Yeah.
too.
But overall, I thought the outside receivers did a solid job. They didn't dominate the way I think they could have. I don't know that I put that on them, though. You can't throw the ball to yourself. nor can you pass pro for yourself.
Agreed. Key to victory number 3, be physical. Miami, Ohio is a well-coached football team, and they play hard.
Those Miami, Ohio alums get real pissed off when you say of Ohio. They get real upset about that.
Sorry. Miami in Ohio? Is it just a bad preposition? Like, I don't
Miami University. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. MU. All right. MU is a well-coached football team, and they play hard, but they're very undersized.
Also just say Miami.
I know.
People know what we're talking about.
I know. The Red Hawk defensive line weighs an average of 264.3 pounds compared to Notre Dame's offensive line that weighs an average of 306 pounds. This mismatch is even greater inside, with a 2-deep at defensive tackle averaging 269.3 pounds against Notre Dame guards and center that weigh an average of 315 pounds. Notre Dame needs to play bully ball against the undersized Miami line and dominate in the run game.
I would call 36 carries for 270 yards, 7.5 yards per carry bully ball and bullying a team and being look, even like I thought Sam Pendleton didn't play a good game on Saturday. I didn't think he played well at all, but he was physical. Yeah. I didn't think Anthony Knapp played well, but he competed. He just didn't play well.
Sure.
I think from the center onto the right side, we'll talk about them later. I thought there was some tight end blocking that was woefully
tight end blocking that was really bad.
But offensive line, again, guys, the numbers sometimes can lie to you. In this case, they don't. 36 carries for 270 yards, 7.5 yards per carry. Miami of Ohio was keying the heck out of the Notre Dame running backs, which is partly why Riley Leonard went off the way he did, because they were keying on the the running backs a bunch and giving him pulls, and he took full advantage.
I want you to explain this. I think I attempted to at one point yesterday, and I think I just got frustrated. People are, the people that don't want Riley Leonard, okay, they're saying, okay, bench Riley Leonard and give those carries to the running backs instead. Can you explain, probably more eloquently than I can, why a quarterback who can run the football in the manner that Riley runs the football gives you an advantage in the run game as opposed to just giving those carries to the running backs?
Well, I'll say this. There's 2 answers to that question, Vince. Number one is if you were to tell me you're going to put in a quarterback that I think can rip a team up throwing the football, then I would say, okay, make that move. If you had a veteran quarterback backing him up that was ready to step in, or a true freshman that you trusted, or a redshirt freshman that you trusted to put in there, and that guy was going to drop back and run the RPO game and make those throws, I'd say, okay, you need to consider doing that, right? Because there's things you can do with the throwing game to protect the backside. The problem is, that's not who you'd be putting in the game. You'd be putting in the game that doesn't a guy in the game that doesn't have that ability to make those plays with any consistency. And so what you're going to have is they're going to defend Notre Dame very similarly to how they did last year. So last season, the way that Notre Dame teams defended Notre Dame's run game is they would load up basically what they thought was call side, and then they would crash hard off the backside, knowing that Notre Dame had no read zone threat at all to what they were doing. And so you give those backs the ball, and all of a sudden teams are going to play them kind of like what Miami did yesterday, where they crash hard. Whenever the back would go a direction, they'd crash hard that direction. And there was how many times do we see Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price get hit in the backfield as Riley Leonard's pulling the ball and running? Well, if you didn't have his ability to run, then they're just getting hit in the backfield, because teams are keen on it, and their offensive line is – here's the thing some of you are going to have to come to grips with. However you feel about Riley Leonard right now, you don't have the offensive line right now to put a drop-back quarterback in the game and say, have at it, Hoss. You don't. Because right now, that's his ability to run and make plays is what keeps teams honest against your elite running backs. That's the reality. Now, he's got to still play better. But you are not getting the blocking, especially from the left side, with the consistency needed to just line up and run on people without the threat of quarterback, because you don't have Joe Alt playing left tackle and you don't have Blake Fisher playing right tackle. Although I thought Emil last week had the best game of his career last week. I thought he was better than on Saturday. Like, I think Emil Wagner's literally gotten better in every single game he's played so far. I don't know if you agree with that, Vince, but
I do.
And
he plays with more confidence too. I mean, you can just see it.
Dominant. He is yet to be as dominant as Blake was last year in his best games. I've yet to see Emil Wagner be as dominant in 4 games as Blake was against Ohio State last year. But he has been very consistent and steady. So I'll just say this: you don't have Joe Alt at left tackle where you can just run behind a star. I mean, you guys see what he's doing in the NFL. He's a star. So you need that threat of the run right now. Now, the hope is that Riley can go out there and be better throwing the football. And because you guys, you're down 3 starting offensive linemen. Your left tackle, your center, and your right guard are gone. They're not there. If Charles Jagasaw was healthy and Ashton Craig is healthy and Billy Schroth was healthy, maybe we could have a deeper conversation about that. But you're not turning to a quarterback that is going to be able to run this offense the way that Riley does. But it's also why I do think the one big mistake this offensive staff has made is when you decided that Riley was not healthy enough to run the football against Northern Illinois, that's when you should have considered putting one of your other quarterbacks in to try to give your offense a spark at some point in time in that game. Because if Riley can't run, right now, the way he's throwing the ball, he's not good enough to lead your offense. And I think on Saturday they tried to kind of get the offense going without him running, and it didn't work.
Yeah, they realized that pretty quickly.
That's where you're at. So, but overall, Vince, I think 36 carries for 270 yards, to getting back to the point that we had, is impressive. Notre Dame only had -8 rushing yards on Saturday as well. That's another underrated point of this too. And one of I think the -5 from Riley, I believe, was on a sack. So if you actually look at rushing yards, take out the sack. If you actually look at rushing yards, Notre Dame rushed for 275 yards and on 35 carries. That's pretty good, Vince. I'm going to do the math. That's 7.9 yards per attempt. That's a pretty good day. Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but when you can go out there and do that to team, I mean, remember we were talking about before the years, like, how good is this team going to be running the ball with all these new guys and things like that? And, and right now they're like, oh, you can't go out there and run on people and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm looking at this Notre Dame offense and I'm like, this team's averaging 238 rushing yards a game and 6.7 yards per carry. Right now, Notre Dame ranks number 5 in college football in yards per carry at 6.7. And they're number 3 amongst Power 5 teams. Ohio State's 1, UCF is 2, Notre Dame is 3. Boise State and South Alabama are ahead of them. Like, you know what? It's a pretty good day's work. And Notre Dame also ranks, they're tied for 8th in rushing touchdowns in college football this year. One of the teams ahead of them has played in 5 games. So, yeah, they're playing bully ball. It's not pretty all the time, but I thought they beat Miami of Ohio up, just warmed down. And basically, when you've got Riley Leonard in the game and you've got running backs like Notre Dame has, it's pick your poison. Do you want Riley to beat you, or do you want the running backs to beat you? Purdue, Texas A&M said, we're not going to let Riley Leonard beat us. And so Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price beat you. They had a game plan where they were crashing 2 guys off the edge to take away Riley's running ability. So what did that leave open? Jadarian up the middle for big gains. Jeremiah up the middle for big gains. Right? And you look at Purdue. Purdue had sort of a, hey, we're going to play the read zone a certain way, which allowed Notre Dame to rip off some big plays. But also the way that they were trying to defend the run game made them very susceptible to a lot of the counter stuff, which Notre Dame ran with the running backs and the quarterback. So when you have a quarterback that's this mobile, what it does run game wise is it gives you it gives you the threat of, you can't just say we got to stop 4 and 24. It says it's harder to game plan to stop backs that good when you also have a quarterback that if he keeps playing the way he's playing right now, could get close to 1,000 yards rushing this year. I don't want that to happen because I hope he starts throwing the ball better and they don't need him to run as much as they are. But think about that. I mean, think about that, Vince. It makes it hard to defend. It really does. I mean, if you look at the numbers, Jeremiah Love's averaging, Jadarian Price leads the team in yards per carry at 7.42. Jeremiah Love is right behind him at 7.37. And Riley Leonard's right behind those two at 7 yards a carry. Riley Leonard's averaging 7 yards a carry right now, your quarterback. And those three guys have combined for 12 rushing touchdowns. Like, it's hard to defend that. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say if your pass game was just good, not even great, just good, you don't stop this offense. I mean, they're doing what they're doing right now with a pass game that's just substandard. I mean, we be honest about that. There's a lot of reasons why. And a big reason why is because even though I'll give Joe Rudolph credit for this. There's things that he's doing right now that I don't like. But what you and I said this whole offseason, I don't want to see Joe Rudolph's offensive lines going out there playing passive like they did last year, playing soft.
They're not doing that.
4 games, there's a lot to clean up, but not once have I watched that offensive line say they're not playing hard.
Right.
They may not be playing well all the time, but like Sam Pendleton had the worst game of his career on Saturday, in my opinion. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
Oof, it was
but
bad.
Not at no point in time did I ever say Salmon's not playing hard. He's not focused. He's not locked in. He's playing soft. He doesn't want to be here. He's overlooking Miami of Ohio. Never once did I think that. I said, well, he's got to fix his footwork there. I don't think he understood what was going on there. He's got to clean up his hand play right there. But you know what you get from Sam Pendleton every single snap? Kid is playing hard. You know what you got from Pat Coogan and Rocco Spindler on Saturday? There's plays that they missed on. There's mistakes they made. But I never once thought, man, Rocco's got to play harder there. Coogan is not bringing it today. He's not playing hard today. And as bad as Anthony Knapp has been, he has at times looked confused, and he's not sure who to block. But outside of a couple of those snaps, the kid's playing hard. And that's why with this group of running backs, Vince, it's not rocket science. Play hard to get a body on the body and let those flipping dudes do what they do. It's really that simple. Well, this doesn't translate to better defenses. Yeah, it does. We watched it in the opener against Texas A&M. Play hard, get a body on the body, and those 3 kids are going to make plays.
And that's the best defensive line that they're going to face all season.
I think so. Now, here's
the
thing. I think the second best defensive line they're going to play
is this
all
week
season
coming up.
Is the one they're going to play next Saturday.
Agreed. I agree. Okay, the final key to victory for the offense, number 4, early down pass game. This is a bit of an extension of key number 2. Miami is going to play a lot of heavy boxes on early downs. They did that in the first 2 games, and neither Northwestern nor Cincinnati run the ball like Notre Dame does. That means the Irish will need to take advantage of that with the pass game and make Miami pay for their loaded boxes. They will need a strong early down pass game plan that looks to get the ball in space, attack down the field, and give wideouts a chance to make big plays.
So I believe, Vince, that they went into this game thinking with the thought that they've got to be able to throw the ball on first down. And I actually think overall the game plan that was good. The execution wasn't there. So overall, I'd probably go with I'm borderline between a check and a minus because let's walk through it. Okay. So first drive, you don't throw on first down. You run on first down and you're 3 and out. Next drive, you come out on first down. I'm actually going to walk people through this play tomorrow, but he looks right, and he's looking at Chris Mitchell running an out cut. Chris slips, and as soon as Chris slips, Riley comes backside to Mitchell Evans on a seam route. Perfectly placed ball. Either Mitchell catches it or it's a PI, and he got a PI. So good first down play there. Next play, again, another good first down design. You're running a sprint out play to Chris Mitchell. He's open, nice, easy 5-6 yard gain, just like last week. Quarterback throws the ball over his head. Right. So the plan was there. The execution wasn't there. Right. So that's got to get better. Your next first down play, next drive, you run the ball on first down and you get 3. The next drive, you have 2 first down runs. This is the first touchdown drive, which we'll break down later. You have 2 8-yard runs. Your third first down of that series, you throw a go ball. This was actually a really smart play by Riley. They jump off sides. He knows he's got a free play.
Yes.
Take your shot. And Jordan Faison gets interfered with. Good first down shot. They were dropping back, throwing the ball on that play. You throw a tunnel screen on the next play, incomplete pass. Your next first down, Jeremiah Love runs for 5 or 9. Your next first down, Riley goes for a touchdown. And then your next first down, goes for 5 yards, your design run, your next first down. Riley runs it in for a touchdown. Run on first down, your next drive. First down, you get 8 yards. Then Riley throws the ball to Chris Mitchell. Bad ball, just misses them on first down. So, again, you're being aggressive there. You just miss. Then on 2nd and 10, he hits Chris Mitchell for a first down. Your next first down play, 38-yard bomb for a touchdown. Right? So, I think early down pass success, Vince, was I give it a check. It's not a plus. Set third quarter, your first down and 10, you throw a little quick, 6-yard gain to Eli Raridan to move the chains, and Riley takes off running the next play. No first down runs on the next drive or passes on the next drive. You're running after that. You weren't running the ball. You weren't throwing the ball that much on first down after that. But I think overall, the plan early was they knew they had to get the ball outside on first down. They had some stuff designed. They hit some things in those situations. So schematically, game plan wise, I give it a plus. A check. Actually, I'll give it a plus. Actually, for the game plan.
Wise, yes, agreed.
Execution wise, at times it was good. At times it wasn't good. So you add it all up. I give him a check. That's where I'm at on this one. It was a good game plan. It was overall solid. It needs to be better, but it was enough. In this particular game, it was enough to get the job done.
Those are our offensive keys revisited, Brian. In the meantime, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, share with your family and friends, and, of course, jump on the boards at irishbreakdown.com for all of your breakdown needs. They're all there, boards at irishbreakdown.com.